Hey everyone, Vin again with another foreign film review. Um, Today I want to talk about Eternal, which is a Danish science fiction movie. It's from Denmark. You've probably never heard of it. It's extremely obscure right now. It's only been released in a few countries in Europe. It's written and directed by Salim. It stars two different men as the male character, Elias, and two different women as the female character, Anita. We'll talk about that later. The visual effects are by Copenhagen Visuals. So all the VFX, it's the whole movie is produced in Denmark, which is really, really cool, especially for science fiction movies, which is the reason why I want to talk about it. Just because there's not a lot of Danish science fiction movies. So I really wanted to kind of put a spotlight and celebrate this attempt. Um, if you look at reviews online or as I talk more, um, it it doesn't quite, reach what it's attempting to do. Um, and to be quite honest, the reviews are not very good, but there was really, really interesting potential here, and there's a lot of really good elements, and I'm really excited that they tried, and I'm really excited um, about the future of what this could be, because Copenhagen Visuals, they did a fantastic job, and the heart of this movie really shows what could be in the future. Because this movie was really close, I think, to being pretty good. I would describe it Eternal as a beautiful misfire. Um, Basically, it's an interesting short film. It feels like the first 20-30 minutes are really good. It starts with just a romance story. You meet these two young people, Elias and Anita, when they're young, and you see them fall in love, and it's really beautiful. Um, there's zero science fiction at all. It's just these two people falling in love, building a relationship, and um, it's just a very sweet drama. And I was digging it. The cinematography is good, lighting's good, color, music, acting. It was all like, I was like, oh man, I genuinely really like this. Um, but then the issue is, after that great opening act, the movie doesn't know where to go. In the middle act, I don't think it's a spoiler to say there's a time jump and the characters are recast. It's not a big time jump. It's just like 10 years. All you had to do is like add a beard to one guy and maybe change the hair and makeup of the girl. But instead, the director chose to use different actors, and this creates a humongous disconnect. These new actors, I mean, it's kind of like The Crown when they recast. Like these new actors don't have the same charm as the originals, and you don't connect with them because they're not the ones you fell in love with. You fell in love with the younger versions, and they don't act exactly the same way. They don't feel the same. Even their physicality is different. Um, it's very clumsy and awkward when they recast. Furthermore, the actual plot becomes much less interesting. Um, After the great opening act, when we do have this time jump, their story is not as compelling, yet they drag it out for like an hour, and it's not that interesting. Then we get to the real big problem, which is the science fiction aspect of this movie. The visual effects are good, mind you. It looks good. The cinematography is really good. Um, but the actual writing just didn't work. Um, the science fiction element, it's essential to the story, but the way it works into it, in my opinion, it just makes it emptier. This could have been a pure romantic movie, a pure romantic drama, and I think it honestly could have been very, very good. Um, but it feels kind of like um the writer director was a little insecure, and like he didn't have confidence in that this could just be a great pure romance movie. So he said, "Oh, let me add some science fiction to this to try to like make it a little more interesting, add a twist." And with the science fiction element, it distracts from the movie because it's not really explained, but it's not in an interesting way that leaves you asking good questions. It leaves you asking So what is this? What happened? Like the questions you have at the end of this movie are not good questions to have because the science fiction element, like, is just weird. Um, if I was to compare this to something, it's like dark matter or interstellar. In my opinion, the emotional core of this movie is even better than dark matter interstellar. And that's very good. That's why I was so excited early in the movie. But the science fiction element is so weak. And it's not the visual effects. The visual effects are fantastic. Copenhagen Visuals, I'm very proud of them. But it's the way it's worked into the script and what they're trying to the what what they're aiming for is good, but it's just not connected to the story very well. And there's no like emotional weight really. So when you have the science fiction element, it just kind of ruins the movie to the point where you have this 90-minute movie and it just feels like it's been dragged out to 3 hours. It it's very, very disappointing and sad. It's a shame because this really should have been great. It could have been great. And it's not because of budget problems, it's not because of visual effects problems. It's just because the written story, typed up script, does not connect the science fiction element to the emotional element in a very profound way. It's used very superficially, and it just leaves you with more frustrations and bad questions than anything interesting, intellectual, or thought-provoking. It's like a pseudo philosophical movie. Like it's not as deep as it thinks it is, which is very, very, very unfortunate. I guess I want to add that it's not as terrible as some of the reviews have made it out to be. I will kind of champion this because I really love the first opening act or so. Um, but honestly, I'd recommend maybe catch this on streaming and then turn it off after 30 minutes or whenever you lose interest because once they change actors, it just doesn't work anymore. Uh, That's when the science fiction stuff comes in. But you don't care about the science fiction stuff at all. You don't care about the stuff that happens. Just come for like the basic, a short romantic drama at the beginning. And I guess that's the most you can take away from this. Um, Maybe the trailer is pretty good. Watch the trailer. The poster's cool. Um, it's just a shame because I would love more international science fiction movies. Um, I would love to see different perspectives. I love how this movie started with such a strong romantic core. Because a lot of science fiction movies don't always have that. Um, but it's just ironic that now you have a science fiction movie where they get the emotional core, but they just don't have the sci-fi down properly. That connection is wrong. And it's such a short movie. It's only 90 minutes. I feel there really was enough time for them to flesh out this kind of science fiction sci-fi angle because they spend 30 minutes developing the relationship at the beginning. I feel they could have spent some more time to flesh out the science fiction to kind of connect those threads meaningfully, and really make the audience care about everything that's happening in this movie because you lose investment really quickly after like 20, 30 minutes or so. It's just a shame because this really should have worked. This really should have been great. And I really encourage people to support movements like this and attempts like this. Go see it in theaters, see if you like it yourself. But I'm proud of the people involved with this. I think the actors did the best they could. I think the direction is good, but the writing is not. I think the visual effects are good. The music is good. I think it has all the right ingredients pretty much. But I think the script or something in the edit or just the story is not as it just doesn't hold together as well as it needed to, which is really, really unfortunate. Okay, I also wanted to mention, just very briefly, some other new movies that I've watched lately. I've seen Coup, which is written and directed by Joseph Schuman and Austin Stark, starring Peter Sarsgaard and Billy Magnussen. It's honestly pretty underwhelming. It's also another movie that probably no one's heard of, no one's going to see. This one is actually released in the US, but it's totally ignorable. Um, I thought it would be a food dark comedy, and I like food. I like dark comedies, but the food barely plays a part. The comedy's pretty bad. It has some weird politics about COVID, and the morals are kind of weird. There's just really nothing to take from this. There's really nothing great about it. It's really disappointing. And there's something involving the main character where he was very, very, very interesting, I think. And then they do something that makes him fundamentally more simple and less interesting to me. So I was really disappointed in this movie, Coup. The next movie I want to talk about, Blink Twice. You've probably heard of it. Written and directed by Zoe Kravitz, her directorial debut, starring a ton of well-known actors: Naomi, Ackie, Channing Tatum, Christian Slater, Simon Rex, Adria Arjona, Kyle MacLachlan, Haley Joel Osment, and Geena Davis. Fantastic cast, a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this movie. My description for it would be like Jordan Peele's Glass Onion. I think it could be a really fun like movie to go see with your friends, or maybe on a date or something. Don't look up anything, just go, just have a good time. There's some bloody violence in case someone's sensitive, some horror, some comedy, good acting, good surprises, good music, great editing. It's super stylish. It's really, really well done. The script could have been a little stronger, a little bit more original, I think. But honestly, it's pretty good. I really recommend it. Um, and especially for Zoe Kravitz's directorial debut, great job. Great job. The last one I want to talk about is called Strange Darling. This was written and directed by J.T. Mollner, uh, with Willa Fitzgerald as the lady, Kyle Gallner as the demon. Um, this one is even more stylish than Blink Twice. This one's super cool looking. Giovanni Ribisi did the cinematography. Great actor. You know this is his cinematography debut, and really he did a great job. It it it's filmed on film, and it even has a title card that tells you that. It you can see it. There's like film grain in it. Um, I wonder if they added some digitally because it looks like a 90s movie. And they use like Technicolor effects or something to like really make the colors pop, like the blues, the yellows, the reds. Whoa, it looks really, really cool. The story is pretty good. I don't think it's as incredible as they thought it would be. There's some good twists and turns, but really it kind of relies on those twists and turns more than like one strong narrative. Um, a really good setups and payoffs though. Like a really good Chekhov would be really proud, you know. I think the acting was pretty good. Maybe there's more things I liked than I didn't like. I don't quite like the ideological core of the movie. Um, but I think it's still really enjoyable, and it's maybe worth discussing afterwards. Um, what you think their intent was with this movie, and um what you think it's trying to say about society. I don't know if I quite like its messaging, but it's at least good for conversation, I think. It's good for a nice debate, maybe. It's an interesting movie. It's really well made and it looks really good. And it's quite surprising, I think. So I would really recommend go check this out. The story structure is really cool in it too. So anyway, those are some movies I wanted to talk about today. Eternal, Coup, Blink Twice, Strange Darling. All of them are, flawed, but they're kind of wonderfully flawed. They're not great movies, but there's things to like from all of them. Just if you're looking for something interesting or something curious, I have no idea when Eternal is coming to the US. It's coming out very, very slowly. It's just been at festivals in a few countries right now, but if you hear about it, maybe give it a shot and see what you think. All right, guys, that's it for today. See you next time. Bye.